Okay, we will start Bezat Hashem. Baruch Hashem, we have gone through Shavuos, each one the way he did. Baruch Hashem. I was schmoozing with Rabbi Mendel about, staying awake on Shavuos, not staying awake on Shavuos. We spoke about it before Yom Tov. And we mentioned the fact that the quantity is not the thing that matters, but as much as you do, as long as you mean to do that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from you, whether you are absolutely right or not, it's not that important. I mean, you're supposed to find out, you're supposed to ascertain what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from you. Like we all know the halacha of, Sofek brochas lehakel. Like if you're not sure what bracha should be made on something, or you're not sure if you made a bracha, or so. Sofek brochas lehakel. So you don't make a bracha. So the Chazon explains that if that knowledge of the bracha is knowable, in other words, you can find out what it is, just because you don't know it doesn't mean it's sofek. It's not sofek. Sofek means that it's unknowable. If it's unknowable, then it's sofek. But if you can find out what the bracha should be, or whatever it is in front of you, what they give matzah from, or whatever, there's a way for you to find out. It's not called a sofek. It means you don't know. It's not the same. You'll learn, you find out, you'll know. It's not a sofek. So whenever it is that you're not sure what it is, was right conduct, should you stay awake, should you not stay awake, whatever it is, you ask. You pick up the phone, you ask. You ask him. But if after everything is said and done, you did the best you could, it's fine. Because you meant to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to do. Torah is not given to Malach HaSharis, it wasn't given to angels. You're supposed to keep it in mind. That should be your kavanah. So this is especially true, as we get older, Baruch Hashem, and the koila where I go, I am older people there, practically older people that are younger than me, which may not say a lot, but still, So one of the guys told me, that's how inspiring it is that, people my age keep on showing up, whatever it is. I was like, thank you very much. It's like, never give somebody a compliment based on the fact that he's old. That's it's not, it's like somebody, that goes on a shidduch. His friend tells him, you should give the girl a compliment. So he comes back with a shiner, a big shiner. He says, what happened? He says, I don't know. I did what you told me. So what he says, I told her, you look really good for a fat girl. It's like, certain things are not such big compliments. But nevertheless, a person should be realistic about what his koiches are, what it is he's capable of doing, what he's not capable of doing. I remember a couple of years ago, the years before, I I stayed awake Shavuos night, Baruch Hashem, and I was like for 3 or 4 days, I was like totally out of it. So I spoke to my Rav and I told him about it. So he said, so why'd you stay awake? What do you mean, why did I stay awake? It says that you're supposed to stay awake, no? Oh, man. It says you're supposed to stay awake. I says, yeah, but you became a mensch. You couldn't hold up. So why'd you stay awake? So I said, I thought I was supposed to do this. So he said, so why didn't you ask? He tells me. At this point, I was totally cornered. What can I say? So I said the truth. I said, I didn't have any seichel to ask. It didn't dawn on me that I was supposed to ask. I thought I was supposed to do it. And if I have any problem with it, well, tough luck. It's like I didn't have a seichel. I was supposed to ask. He says, you say that. I said, okay, that's a good explanation. That's a good reason. I told him, last year it was also the same thing. He says, what? He says, you're doubly stupid. It's already year after year. It's not the first year. And it's like, okay. Okay. So each person has a malchus, Torah and Vav, we are Basif Hey. Everybody has a malchus, each one according to his own madrega. And a person needs to use malchus Taveris Hashem in order to set the neshamas that are under him, to set them straight. And this is done by a person who is Oisik B'Torah. This is how he's extending and drawing arichas yomim, long days and das, into the malchus. By doing that, he is mamshich. He is revealing the astaras within the astaras. All the places that are concealed and turns them to das and Torah. Then, when a person does that, the Torah itself is awakening the embedded Torah in the Astara. And the Torah itself, admonishes the people, who are in the Astara, like, what do you think? And when he does that, the person is not punished for the sins of those who are under him. And being that we said that Malchus the Kedusha revives all the very low madrigas, even those that are so hidden, is Bastor v'toch Astora. The tzaddik is Pchinas Malchus. He's the one that rules over the entire generation. Everybody's under him. And this is what he does. He's Isaac. His job is to reveal all the stories, all the ambiguities, and gather all the holy sparks, the holy tzitzis that fell into the lowest places, which is the Divrei Torah, this is the Sisra Torah, as we said before, the most precious words of Torah are dafka in those hidden places. Now Rabbeinu says that the opposite also exists. There is Malchus Harashah, there's the wicked Malchus, whose interest is exactly the opposite. And it wants to gather all the holy sparks to itself. It says, Sif Hey, Malchus Kedusha, parallel to the Malchus Kedusha, which is the lowest madrega of the Kedusha, that all the lower rungs, the lowest places, they receive chayes from that. Even those who are in the Asar B'toch Hastara. Yesh Malchus Harashah, there is the wicked Malchus. I know Malchus Haman Amalek. This is the Malchus, the kingship, the rulership of Haman Amalek. Moshekosov Reishis Goyim Amalek. Amalek, what does it mean? Reishis Goyim Amalek means that Amalek has Reishis, he has Malchus, he has king, has rulership. And Haman is, a descendant of Amalek. And the Malchus, the Kedusha, Malchus the Rishah, are Zelu Mazeh, one parallel to the other. Malchus the Kedusha, the role of the Malchus the Kedusha, that's the last one, is Shevet Dan, that gathers, that's the last, the last ditch, behind all the camps of Am Yisrael. And all those that fall off, his job is to bring him back to the Kedusha.
Whose job?
Shevet Dan.
Bring the ones
who fell off. Yeah. Dan is Ma'asif l'chol ha'machonos. That's the rescue.
Since some of the Dan people fall off too.
Hmm?
Did some of the Dan people fall off too?
Say them. It's nicht kasha. It's not a kasha. What? Right. That's the Shevet Dan. It's Malchus. There's a Dina de Malchus Adino. That's the job of any din is to constrict and to focus. Basically, it's the job is to educate and to enforce. Enforce. It's like a police. The police does not exist in order to aggrandize the policemen, for them to boast how much power they have, but they're there to enforce law and order, right? What they do is it's to provide judgment, that will get rid of various temptations from the side, and focus people on the tachlis, which is avodas Hashem. So it's done me'asaf l'chol machonos. This, by the way, I saw in a sefer that was written by Rav Be'eri, the one they call him the Yanuka. He speaks about this power of gvuros is consecrated in Shimshon. Shimshon was a judge. He came from Shevet Dan. And he was on such a madrega of yichud because of the judgments that the Gemara says the Shimshon Dan Yechidi. He would judge as a sole person, a sole judge. Now, he didn't have a basin. Just him himself, to show that he was on such a madrega of yichud. The judgments, the mites was so concentrated. That's the reason that he had no fear of anyone, because he was all the power of judgment, which is me'as l'kol ha'machonis, is machon the kedusha. Kmo shekosu, it is said, sof davar kol nishma es Elokim yira. The be all and end all of everything is es Elokim yira. You have to have fear and awe of Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's the beginning and that's the end. It all begins with that, ends with that. Es ze, the sof davar. Elokim yira, ze b'chinas malchus. That's the malchus. כמו שכוסוב, אלמלא מורא של malchus. Chazal said, if it wasn't for the fear of malchus, in other words, if it wasn't, al-pipshat means, if it wasn't for the fear that people were afraid of the police, he says, a person should always daven for the shalom of malchus, for the shalom of the power at be. The government, whatever it is. It's a good government, it's a bad government. You should always daven, shlom shel malchus. They shouldn't lose the power and, their deterrent. He said, it wasn't for the fear that the people are afraid of government, police, whatever it is. Ishas re'eu chayim balo. A man would swallow his fellow man alive. I mean, maybe the malchus is not, what you think it ought to be, and so forth and so on. But nevertheless, be mispal shlom shel malchus. The yira is b'chinas malchus. The malchus is the thing that puts, as they said, the fear of God into the hearts of people. That's the thing that scares people.
All the ones that fell behind the ones in the Star should be called Star.
We already said that 3 madrigas to that.
They're the mess up those guys.
We said that 3 madrigas to that.
Now?
All the time. The 3 madrigas for those who fell off.
People?
Huh?
The Machaidan is Osef, those people?
Yeah, all of them. Even those that fell aside from Torah Star. Rabbeinu says in Torah Hay that thunders were created to straighten out the crookedness in the hearts of people. To straighten out the crookedness in people's hearts. Thunders.
Someone hears the thunder and they're on the crooked path and wakes them up with the shed.
You see, to understand this in a little bit more deeply, Nelson explains there is something which is called, we spoke about it, it's called or Yashar, the original straight light. That's the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's the emes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The or Yashar nobody can see. When do you see it? When that light hits an obstacle and reflects back, then you can see it. It's like you can't look at the sun. It's too much, blinds. When the sun hits the moon, What happens is that you're getting the moon doesn't have any light. You're getting the light of the sun, but the light of the sun is now being reflected of the moon, and in the process of being reflected, it is diminished. You're seeing the light is diminished. Any kind of this is called Or Chayzer. That's called a returning light, a reflected light. Now, whenever there is a process where the light gets reflected, the truth gets reflected, it is diminished by the attributes of that obstacle or whatever it is, reality that it reflects from. The moon, is dense. That way, it swallows a lot of the light, and it gives a certain kind of light, which is silvery, which is cool, whatever it is. That's not really. These are not really the attributes of the light of the sun. The light of the sun is hot. It's red.
Not a pure mirror.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you were a mirror, we wouldn't be able to look at it. Now the thing is that the same thing applies. I mean, light means truth. Light means emes. Light means toif, right? Whenever it is that it gets reflected by something, it is diminished. The same light of the sun, when it hits the sun, when it hits the moon, it is like this. When it hits something else, it's like this. Because how distant it is, and so forth and so on. So each one basically reflects the light and diminishes it and distorts it. Now, when the light of the moon itself is reflected from something here, from a tree, from this, in the middle of the night, it is further diminished. All this is analogous to the emes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is complete, it's total, and in its original form, as it were, there's no way to receive it. You can only receive it as it's reflected, with the Torah, with the power of Torah. They say that people, and Odon Oimed al Divrei Torah, a person, cannot find what Torah really is, Elam can nichshel b'hem, unless he actually stumbles upon them. It means that the light of the truth has to be diminished many times, not for a person to understand it, to ascertain it. Now, the thing is that the entire Torah, the entire Torah Sheba'al Peh, from the Mishnayos all the way down to the last of the Achronim and the Poskim Bnei Zmanenu, the whole thing is an endless effort to ascertain the Or Yashar, the original Or Yashar, what is the true emes HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us in our hastara, in our diminishment, in our constriction. When a person listens to the news, he is getting, they don't know a thing. They don't know anything, zilcho. All their opinions are shtuyot. Whatever they think they should not be, whatever, it's nonsense. How come? Because all they're doing is they're reflecting a reflection of a reflection of a reflection of a reflection that is totally, fraught with self-interest, with rishus, with tumah, with selfishness, and they dress it up as, we want your tova, right? So, I mean, vote for me, because I really want what's good for you. It's like nobody else except for me knows what's good for you, right? That's why listening to all the diburim in this world, all the diburim that are influenced by worldly perspective, are or chayzer, ben bnoi shel or chayzer shel or chayzer shel or chayzer, to the point that everything becomes, I mean, you can't even tell the truth from that. This truth, the matter is, don't even attempt to find the truth. They don't care about the truth. It's like Torah Aleph, le'achpot ksil b'svuno, a fool is not interested in wisdom. Kim Bisgal Sliba, he wants an expression of whatever it is his heart's desires. And that's the Rosh of Malchus. A person should forever be misdabek himself into the midah of Yira. Because what happens is, when there is a thunder, whether it's a physical thunder or it's something happened that is truly shocking, like October 7th, the shock, I mean, people are riding on the greased rails of their previous perceptions. They have opinions. I remember my mother-in-law, Shalom, used to ask me, it's like, what do you think Israel should do? I said, I don't know. She says, yeah, but what's your opinion? What's Shaykh opinion? I don't know what's the right thing to do. I mean, what do you say? Yeah, I should make up something interesting. Huh? Can you hear? Right. I have no idea. The opinion doesn't matter. But the thing is that people are full with opinions. And the thing about opinions is that people are into their pattern. They go in a groove. When a person has an opinion, everything that happens to him proves to him that he was right all along. And affirmation. Anybody that was against him was proven wrong. And the other person who thinks the opposite, everything that happens proves that he was right all along, and you're the one who was wrong all along. Unless there's a thunder, an explosion, a shock from outside the reality, something that makes all the day-to-day things immaterial. Like you're sitting there. I remember once years ago, I saw a video of baseball players, big guys sitting in the dugout, and suddenly, sure of themselves, full of confidence, whatever it is, they paid millions, they heroes of all these people, whatever it is. Suddenly there was a thunder that exploded, and these guys like, it's just like little kittens. Because of thunder, it's outside of their reality. All their experiences, all their opinions, all their patterns disappear completely. Suddenly they're open to what's the truth. That's why they say the thunders were created to straighten out the crookedness, the opinions, whatever the opinions that, I got my mind made up, don't confuse it with the facts kind of thing. So that's the thunders explode that to smithereens. Suddenly, what happened? What's the right way to do? What should I do? That's the tafkid of the malchus. And the more a person is open to it, the more a person realizes that that's the name of the game. The easier it is to keep the heart straight and, to come back to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Suddenly, when there are all kinds of, different opinions, to each his own. The minute you go there, you're lost. Truth is relative. All those nonsense. That's why,
And we're post-truth.
yes, post-truth. Each one has his own truth. Thunders fix those things. Means to say, Hanshamachos de Kedusha Sof Dover, that's end, be all and end all of everything. Sofdar means that comes at the end. It's Ma'aseh V'chol HaMachanos. That's the one that gathers at the end. Ma'aseh V'chol HaMachanos de Kedusha. That's the one that gathers all those that fall off the Machos de Kedusha. Chinas Machne Dan. This is the Machane of Dan. That was the camp that traveled last to all the Machanos in the Midbar. And Ki, as Chazal said, Dina de Malchusa Dina means a judgment, a law that the Malchus sets, that's the law that needs to be kept. Dina Malchusa Dina, that's what it means. I need to say the sphere of Malchus is Din. It's judgment. Because it has Chasadim and Gvurais, has both Din and Chesed. And through the Gvurais in the Malchus, the wicked are being punished. That's why Machne Dan, that alludes to a Bechina of Din, of judgment, of indictment, is alluding to the Midah of the Malchus, the spheres of Malchus, the one that the last Machane to all the practices throw. In other words, the tzaddik, who is the Bechinas Malchus, the Kedusha, he is the one whose job is to reveal and to bring about all their stories, to reveal all their stories, to open up the eyes of all the people, and gather all the holy sparks that fell into these very, very low people, Bechinas Yisro Torah, and turn them back into Torah. However, Lu'umazos, vis-a-vis that, Machas Yitra Achra. There's Machas Yitra Achra. What is it? So what's the tendency of Machas Yitra Achra? U'me'asef momin. It collects money. It gathers money. Because it is so fearful that the Malchus the Kedusha will extricate all the Kedusha that it has swallowed. In other words, it's just the Kedusha that exists by him, the holy sparks that he was able to capture, which is the Nishmas Yisrael that fell to Astara b'toch Astara. Those are the holy sparks. That's his hoard. That's his treasure.
Jews that fell into the
That's why the main force of Haman Amalek is to gather money. This is the sparks of Kedusha. This is the holy colors that exist in the supernal colors that exist in gold and silver and in copper. This alludes to the spheres of Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes. Chesed is the silver, and Gvura is the gold, and Tiferes is the copper. Because the holy Nitzoitzes, the holy sparks, are the nefoshes, are these souls that were captured in the net of the Sitra Achra. And it's very difficult for them to get out of there. Why? Because they are totally tempted, they are hypnotized by the wealth, by the money, by the glory, by the beauty that the Sitra Achra has collected. Rabbeinu explains in I think it's Torites, I think, that the Shorosh of Nefoshes, the very root of the Nefoshes, is the primordial lights that later on became money. Money is a very unique reality. You can't eat money. There's nothing you can do with money. Money is one thing. Money is value. It's ambulatory value. Why are they called zuzim? They're moving from one person to another. It's portable value. And being that the Kedusha, the very origin, the lights of the Chesed, the Gvura, and Tiferes, which are the lights that are embedded in the money when it once becomes physical money, it is embedded in the nefesh of a person to be pulled to money, to be attracted to money. Money makes tremendous promises to people. All of them are false. Person, you need money, and Kemach and Torah, right? There's no flour, there's no Torah. A Yid needs money to raise a family, to process a family, everything. But the minute that the money becomes a value in and on its own, this is when it becomes choshech, it becomes darkness. People think, that they'll have plenty of money, all their problems will be over. Do you realize how rare are wealthy people that are actually happy? I have friends, one family that at least the father and their children and his children are incredibly happy people. And the reason why they're happy is because they're Bnei Torah, and because they have it in their minds, whatever I don't know what kind of education they got. I mean, it's not old money, it's basically new money. But the thing is that they come from a Torah background, and by them, they realize that people are attracted to them because they're very wealthy. But instead of being bothered by the neediness of people, they use it to elevate people, to make them feel good. I mean, I know the father, everybody, obviously, everywhere you are, people give him cover, whatever it is. I've never seen the man that he doesn't make other people feel better about themselves. That's what he does. And all his children are like that. Always have time for you. Always, whatever. Besides the fact that they give tzedakah, whatever it is. Baruch Hashem, plenty of people give tzedakah. But to be able to give a good feeling, to give people a good feeling about themselves, this is called Nesias Rosh in Parasas Nasa, right? Nesias Rosh Bnei Yisrael. Elevate the head of Bnei Yisrael. Make the other people feel good about themselves. This is very rare. Money promises people, whatever you want, you'll find in me. You'll be important. You'll be beautiful. You'll be wealthy. You'll be healthy. And when a person finds money, the only thing that he finds is money. Where's the happiness? Mar ben nechas and mar b'daga, right? The more you own, the more worries you have. And they start worrying. People don't really like me for who I am. They like me for my money. And wherever it is I go, wherever it is that anybody sees me, they see me as a walking wallet. Don't see me anymore.
Also the Hasidic stories, like all kinds of stories that usually about a holy man, Tzaddik, who lived his life. Everyone thought he was as poor as could be, like lived in the same shack, and it turned out he was super wealthy and secretly gave tzedakah. Like he wasn't caught in the trappings of living as a wealthy. People didn't even realize, that.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, it's a very hard nisayon. It's a very difficult nisayon. As Rabbeinu says that this is how Sitra Achra keeps those who fell into Astara Techastara trapped. Come with me, you'll get places.
That's the Chem Hashivutz Islam.
That's right. Exactly. That's exactly right. That's the greed. That's the taiva for wealth. That's in itself as malchus. You have money, you'll be able to rule over people. You're going to tell them what to do, they're going to listen to you. Again, Amalek, that's the reason why Amalek, historically, it is in itself, it's a is Malchus Arashah, that's the wicked Malchus. Moshe Kosu, that he came to fight with Am Yisrael in the Midbar. He hunts down all the stragglers, he hunts them down. When is it happening? He tells off, he cuts off, he robs, he hunts down all the stragglers, all the stragglers behind you. And where are you? And you are tired and bushed. And you don't have your Shemaim. Amalek caught them. Caught those who sinned. And because of that, the cloud would expel them. And they went at the end of Machne Yisrael, behind the cloud. This is what it said, V'lo yireh Elokim, and you don't have your Shemaim. Dehainu ka'et she'en lehem koyach malchus dekdusha. V'lo yireh Elokim means they don't possess the force, the power of malchus dekdusha. Then they're susceptible to Amalek. If you're Shemaim, I like that. That's a nice BMW, man. I like that car. This is a nice car. And look at the house. Woo. It's a nice house. Check it out. Woo. By them sinning, they gave the Machas Shah the power to conquer them, to rule over them. Amalek, the people, when they sin, anybody, gives Amalek a koyach to rule over him. It's the mirror image, the opposite of Malchus de Kedusha. Malchus de Kedusha, is the Kedusha. That's the one that gathers in all the stragglers, all those that fell off the Kedusha. That's Machnedan. Malchus Hamana Amalek. However, the Malchus of Haman Amalek, the Tumah, the defilement, Malchus Arashah, that's the wicked Malchus. He is, instead of Masa Kol Amachonis, that is gathering all Neshamas Israel, bring back to the Kedusha, it gathers money. It's going to keep those that are in its snare, to keep them attracted, to keep them addicted. Come on, follow me by me. You know, stick with me and you'll get places. What he does is he stokes Tavas moment. Now to gather all the holy sparks of Kedusha. Rabbeinu says, the end all, it doesn't help him. Malchus de Kedusha is a koyach. Malchus de Kedusha has a koyach. After everything, it's Pchinas Mordechai. Haman Amalek is represented, that's the Malchus de Tumah. Malchus Haman Amalek, that's Haman. And Haman says, he told his wife and his entourage how many children he has, Virov Oshrei, and all the money that he has. Barnab represented, the neshamas, and money is the thing that keeps the neshamas, addicted and drugged. And he wants to keep them by him and swallow the entire Malchus de Kedusha. But there is a koyach and Malchus de Kedusha, which is Pchinas Mordechai. Malchus de Kedusha, which is the true tzaddik, as Malchus Memshol of Avodas Hashem. It has koyach to extricate from them Malchus Amalek all the money and all the Nitzosh Kedusha. How does he do it? He brings in Das, as we learned before, in Das a meeting that reveals the Astar Shebetoch Astar, and then the Astara, the hiding, the concealment, becomes an expression, becomes galus, becomes a revelation. The same koyach that he has to turn out the concealments and turn them into revelations, it's the same power to extricate all the ashiras, all the neshamas and all the ashiras, and turn it into das and make Torah out of it. The main akuda that we need to understand, tzaddikim, from the moment go, they realize they keep the memory of their last day. That the day will come, that they will be put in a hole in the ground, in a pit. And in essence, they forever, throughout their lives, stand before that pit. that they will be brought to when they leave this world. Throughout their entire lives. When a person keeps Zikor Yom HaMisa, the memory of his last day before his eyes all the time, this world cannot dissuade him an iota. What can you give me? I'll end up paying it, Shemirachim. Ribis and ribis the ribis. Ultimately, I pay very dearly for that. There is no value. There's no intrinsic value in worldly reality. None. Except for how it allows you and what it allows you to do the Ratzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But people have all kinds of emotional needs and that pull them. And they feel they need to make compromises. And the biggest compromises that they make stem from the fact that they are convinced that they can hack it. So Rabbeinu said that the third level of notion, they're weak and they're like, I know that's what's supposed to be, but I can't help myself. I can't help it. That's for people who are stronger than me. That is, we said, this is the main tefillah the Messiah never should be on that inning. You can. With the koyach of the tzaddik, you can do it. Alone, it's true, you can't do it. I mean, like, I'm 99.999% controlled by the klipa. But the koyach of the tzaddik, you're connected to him. You can do everything. You can overcome everything. Easy does it. Slowly. But keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the ball. Everything is about self-confidence, right? Play baseball, whatever it is, you do business, whatever it is, it's all about self-confidence. If you're sure you're going to make it, sooner or later you're going to make it. They're saying, Yogi Berra, when he was a slump, he thought, you're in a slump. He said, I'm in a slump. I'm just not hitting. Right now, I'm not hitting. I'm not in a slump. I would not accept it as a fact. No such thing. So I'm not hitting right now. I'm saying Koyach HaTzadikim, you can do everything. Because when people feel they have weak emunas tzadikim, they're not working on emunas tzadikim, it is endless work to get the emunah in the tzaddik. And the koyach of the tzaddik to help all those who are under his malchus to do whatever it is they need to do in this world. Baruch Hashem, Ashreinu. We have such a powerful Rebbe that said explicitly, you can rely on my great strength. He said it flat out. I remember somebody asked Rav Shimon Teichner, how do you know that Rabbeinu is a tzaddik emes? Because he said so. How do you know it's not the Lubavitcher Rebbe? The Lubavitcher Rebbe didn't say so. It's not taking anything away from him. It was a huge, unbelievable tzaddik. But he's not a tzaddik emes. How do you know? He didn't say that he was. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. His people claim it. Yes, but he never said it. I remember when he was old, was already in a wheelchair, was in the 90s, and they made no before the stroke. I think it was before the stroke. Or after, I'm not sure. Anyhow, but so they came out. He was about to come out. They decided they're going to make the coronation. I was there. 770. I was there. They're going to make the coronation. They're going to crown Lubavitch Rebbe as Mashiach. He wouldn't come out. He refused to come out. I remember. Rabbi Groner came out and he said, the Rebbe said, if you want to continue with this Inif coronation, he's not coming out. The Rebbe said so. You're canceling this Inif coronation, then he came out. And he said, this is Tzaddik Emes. He himself is Tzaddik Emes. How do you know? Because he said so. You take a look, no other Tzaddik said it. Moshe Rabbeinu said it. Shem Bar Yochai said it. Rabbeinu Arizal said it. Each one of those Tzaddik Emes said that this is who he was. Not boasting. Without him saying, how would we know? Baruch Hashem, he let us know. The Kitzur Ashreinu. Aboy say, Pashas Naso and the Siyas Rosh, you can do it. You can do it. With Rabbeinu, you can do it. You can do it. Shabbos, Rat Hashem, V'zorche, Ay, Gula Shlemo, Bevias Mashiach Tzidkeinu, B'rat Hashem, Kol B'yameinu, Amen, Amen.